here today. This time is no good after Dhamma feel sleepy, you know. So we have decided to have a discussion with you. Then, some kind of feeling of laziness maybe going out. The subject here today is discussion Dhamma Chittas. Dhamma Chittas. This is utterly connected with Abhidhamma. Abhidhamma is psychological teaching in Buddha's Tripitaka. One among the Tripitakas is called Abhidhamma, Sutras and Vinayas. Vinaya means rule of code of disciplines. Vinaya. Sutras are discourses. Many thousands of discourses are there. That is called sutras, sermons. And Abhidhamma, that is the psychology in Buddhism. These are the three baskets. This subject of jhana is very important. So therefore we are going to discuss this topic of jhana today. First of all, we have to understand when we receive so many messages through our sensory perception, the mind subject to change in positive way or negative way, then the outcome of our mental activities may be good, may be no good. So we have to understand what actually happened in us at the moment of perception. Before that, there is another Abhidhammic teaching called Chitta Viti. Chitta Viti means thought processes. Always we have thought processes going through the mind. Thought processes, thought processes, thought processes. So many thought processes. When we receive an aramana, an object, then we mind create thought processes. There are 17 thought moments. Then I ask some other related questions or take as subject for the discussion. I would like to explain a little bit about this thought process. Otherwise, we can't come to the point of jhana. Thought processes. 17 thought moments are there. Understand, very important. When we receive an object, in the process, there are 17 thought moments. Go through the mind. Go through the mind. Always when we receive an object, then mind respond in 17 moments. 17th moment. This is like a tunnel. Going through the tunnel of the mind, but there are 17 moments in that process. So, here the word you may have heard bhavanga. Bhavanga. Bhavanga state in the mind. Then after that, sensory consciousness arise. After that, jhana arise in the mind. Then jhana activate in the mind. Then we take an action. Action may be verbal, physical, or mental. May be wholesome, may be not wholesome, unwholesome. So what is bhavanga? Then we go to the next point. What is the bhavanga? There are, in the 17 thought moments, there are 3 bhavangas. Bhava means life, anga means factor. So bhavanga is translated by Venerable Narada and other expert in Abhidhamma as life continuum. Life continuum. So the first bhavanga is called Atita bhavanga, past bhavanga. Bhavanga state in the mind is easily can be recognized when one falls to sleep. When one falls to sleep, mind doesn't respond to the messages. Then mind is in a passive state, not in active state. No consciousness arises. So the life is there. Otherwise, bhavanga is not in the mind. We are not living. We died. But the mind is actually in the flow of bhavanga. Flow of bhavanga. Then, atita bhavanga means past life continuum bhavanga. Then, the second stage is bhavanga upachedaka. That means vibration. When the mind doesn't respond to any object, mind is in a state of bhavanga. For instance, if we take a piece of stone, throw to the water, water is very still, then water, there are some kind of ripples. That is the way the ripples start. Otherwise, water is ripples, water is still. Mind is stillness is there, bhavanga. Negative means a very passive state. Then after that, vibration. Message is coming to the mind. We are sleeping, message, while we were sleeping, actually message come through the, not eye, but ears. The ear consciousness, the bhavanga is vibrating. Vibrating, that means message is coming, message is coming, message is coming. Then after bhavanga arrest, we stop the bhavanga. Bhavanga means this objectless mind stop. Now object enter to the thought process. 3 bhavangas have gone now. Objectless mind, now stop, object enter to the process of mind. Then after that, 3 stages. Sampatichana, Santirna, Votama. These 3 stages. Sampatichana means receiving an object, reception. When you come, go to somewhere, there is a reception. Like that, the mind receive an object, reception, sampadichana. When the mind receives the object, the second it passes to the other side, then it goes santirna. Santirna means investigating. what is this? What is this? Mind observe, investigate. Mind investigate is when we were sleeping, or maybe a thief, or maybe something, a mouse or something, cat or something like that. We mind investigate what is going on, what is coming. And then a state of Ottapana. Ottapana means determined. Exactly, thief has come to my house. Determined. Exactly what is going. This is a friend. I recognize him. This is a flower. This is my food. Whatever it is, determine. Exactly you determine. When an object enters to the mind, bhavanga state arrested, then object receive the object, reception, and investigation, followed by determine. All right, this is this, that is that, this one is this. This is the way. Then it's passed to the other side, jhana state. Object go through the jhana state. Then mind way mix. We interfere to the object. We interfere to the object, me or my or something like that. Then jhana, impulsion, or Bhikkhu Bodhi has translated as arrow of flight. That means go through this jhana process. After the jhana, another two moments, that means we have created something good or evil because of jhana. Jhana make our mind good or negative way. Then the results wholesome or unwholesome. Why? Jhana is the thoughts make it positive way or negative way. Until jhana, things are normal. When the object go through the jhanas, then mind put something into the object, then according to our experience, then we will be frightened, or we will be good, or we will be happy, or we will be not happy, or we are going to do something no good. This is the way the jhana create the outcome. Outcome is karma. Now too much I have taken. Dr. Abhishek, would you contribute for that?
Thank you, Bhante. Now, Bhante was explaining how what he called thought moments. The moment, supposing I open my eyes and see this bottle, the light from the bottle comes to my eye. Then that draws my attention. Once he said that bhavanga is the mind that is not doing anything, and then suddenly something comes up. All these stages, luckily, have been now mapped out in modern science, because they have what is called the functioning magnetic resonance scan. They have checked people and found out, they put them on the bed for the scan and asked them to close the eye and then put a picture, and they check where the blood flow changes in the brain. After 2600 years, all the stages have been proved exactly as Buddha said. First is as soon as the light comes to my eye, as Bhante said, it sends a message to the brain. That's what he said, adverting. And then the brain is now getting ready. Brain knows that it's coming from the eye. And then this, from the eye, the message, the retina, the message takes the message to the, what you call the visual center in the brain, which is at the back of your brain. And that is what you call the sensory consciousness. It just recognizes something, not in detail. There is something, I'm not sure what it is yet at this stage. And then the visual center takes the thing to process. That is what she said, receiving consciousness. Then they have what are called accessory centers. So it sends the message. There is something round with a white like this and that center starts processing. That is what is called investigating. And then having processed it with the other centers, surrounding centers, now the brain decides, it sends messages to the storage where you have memory. It is a bottle. I have seen bottles before, so I recognize it as a bottle. That is determining. Now up to this stage, which takes less than a quarter of a second. If you have a watch, look at your watch to see how fast a second is. A quarter of a second is like this. It's gone. And you have recognized the bottle. Up to this point, even an enlightened person can't stop this. It is what you call involuntary stage. Even if an arahant comes and opens the eyes, the same message will go through. And then what happens is you get it gives to the other centers in the brain. Now do the processing and see what it is and whether I like it or not. And that is where the javana, wrongly translated as impulse, it goes through the information that came through in detail. That is where, whether you like it, you don't like it, or you are not worried about it, neutral, that comes. And if you don't like, then all the bad things in your mind comes. I don't want to, I see a dead rat, I don't want to go near it. So what you call the unwholesome mental factors work up. Say you see a flower, you want to pick it up, then the wholesome things come. But also there is something, some bit of unwholesome because you have greed, you want to pick it up. All these stages take place very quickly. And there are 7 thought moments. It is as soon as the jhana stage starts, it goes through all the things and then decide. This is where, if we are careful, if we are mindful, we can control it. And it is called the gateway to karma. That is where the karma starts. Up to this stage, there is all what you are doing is due to past karma. Now, from this state onwards, you can, supposing you are walking on the street, and there are so many people going by, but you don't notice them too much, and then suddenly you see somebody whom you know, and you get the message, I know this person, and then the brain works out. That's the fellow who said something bad about you to other people. Now, what happens to my mind? You get angry. You get bad mental factors work up. right? Then what happens is, after these 17 moments have gone off, it doesn't stop there. Then your brain starts working again on the same subject. Now supposing I do this. See, I knocked only once, but you heard the noises, isn't it? Can you hear? Ring, ring, ring. Like that, you get at least another series of 4 thought processes going on. And this is the time your anger gets worse and you become angry, and then you might decide to go and confront him and abuse him or do something. That is why it is called gateway to karma. And now, with the magnetic resonance scan pictures, all these things have been nicely matched to the Abhidhamma description. Now Bhante said that when you see something, the bhavanga starts vibrating. Bhavanga chalana. That is what happens. The moment the light comes and falls on my retina, the cells in the retina changes. See how the word vibration also, chalana also has started. They start moving. There are what are called rods and cones in your retina. That is the mind base. And they start changing. And what happens is they have what you call the little channels where they change the sodium and calcium in the cell and cause a current. And that current is the one that goes all the way to the brain. All these things happen within quarter of a second. Supposing I touch something, say I didn't know that there was boiling water in this, I touch it. Then immediately before I even recognized, I have taken my finger off. That is because before it came to the Javana stage, you have determined. We said Bottapada, determining thing. We have determined there is something hot. And then Javana comes and then, I didn't know there was this boiling water in it. All the details come. And that description has been given 2 names. First is what is called the Patigha Sampassa. That means now you have come into contact with something and you realize that it is hot. Then after the Javana starts working, then you get what is called the Adivachana Sampassa. That is now you give it a name. It is a cup with the boiling water and I didn't know I had touched it. So this is the description of Javana. And this Javana, the way it makes karma is also very fascinating. I think Bhante would be better to describe that.
Thank you, Doctor, very much. He explained the psychological side of Javana, how our mind responds to the Javana. It's very interesting. The outcome of our thought process may be wholesome, may be unwholesome. This way, the product of our mind is something according to our mental ingredients, what we add to the product. These mental ingredients actually depend upon experience. Experience means I know this person. He had done something good for me, or he had done something wrong with me. That is the past experiences. And according to our knowledge, we may have negative or no good understanding, ignorance, but we decide or we think about that. This way, through our experiences, something in our mind put something in some ingredients to the thought process. Then Javana make through the jhana, as we said, seven thought moments are there. Among the 17 thought moments, 7 are jhavanas. During the jhavana process, we create karma. What is karma? Volitional activities. Volitional activities, chetanaham bhikkhave karma. We start to have a volition because of this jhana process, through the jhana process. Through the jhana process, sometimes mind get angry, or mind get peaceful, or mind become happy. So the jhana create karma. Good karma, what we call sankhara. These are the karma means sankhara. What are the sankharas? Sankharas means punyabhi sankhara, mental conditions or mental phenomena, sankhara. Punyabhi sankhara means good production of mind, body, of words. Punyabhi sankhara. Apunyabhi sankhara, unwholesome products of mind, body, or words, verbal. These are only 2, not aninjabi sankhara. Because I want to add, enlightened beings don't create karma. In the jhana process, enlightened beings don't have the same thought process which we have. They also have jhanas, but they don't include good or evil things to the process. They do only kriya. Other people do karma. Enlightened people have kriya, means just only function. No anything behind in the mind of this process. They do kriyas, it's function, only function. You know? Other people, we all have now the feeling of I in my mind, and we interfere to this process, and karma create evil karma, or bad karma, or good karma, or some good karma, whatever it is. So therefore, still, we haven't created karma, but the background of the good karma, which will be outcome of the process. But this process now getting prepared for the karma in the process of jhana. So good karma, good evolution or evil evolution is preparing now. Is now prepared actually at the end of this process. So I would like to now direct this process according to we wish, because if we are not aware about this process, our mind become a victim of our thought process. Victim means our mind become angry, or mind become very joyful, but we are not aware about that. Mind become victim. Without becoming a victim of our thought process, how do we deal this? Therefore, as we are interested in meditation, practice in mindfulness, how mindfulness can use for this occasion, on this occasion, to create a good karma or not to do any karma. How do we interfere this? Therefore, we should be, we practice mindfulness. how mindfulness teaches us what is mindfulness. Mindfulness is the non-judgmental awareness of the present moment. So we should be aware about what is going on in us at the moment of perception. Oh, I am aware. What is going in my mind? That is why we need mindfulness. One day, I was in a meeting. An English person came to me and asked me, "Are you a Buddhist monk?" "Yes, I'm a Buddhist monk." "Do you meditate?" The second question he asked, "Do you meditate?" "I do." "Do you get angry?" Third question. Well, I can't say yes or no, but I have to explain this. I don't become victim of my feeling. That is the answer I give. I don't become a victim of my perception. Means I don't get angry, or I don't want to create any negativities. What do you mean? I am very aware about my mind. The anger, when angry feeling arises, I am very aware about that. That means I am not angry, but anger has arisen in my mind. Then I am aware about that. Then anger disappeared. Until that, I am very aware not to do anything. I am very aware about that. So that is the way I reply to that person. Therefore, mindfulness helps us to control, means to lead our mind in a right direction. So therefore, three factors which Buddhist teachings we can use for this. Okay, on this occasion. One is sati, mindfulness. We are aware, non-judgmental awareness. We shouldn't take a side. So, other word is sampajanya and yoniso manasikara. From that side, I would like to ask you any of these three things: sati, mindfulness, and sampajanya, and yoniso manasikara. These are very important in meditation field.
Thank you, Bhante. This is where we can apply free will. Because lots of people used to say, according to Dhamma, if this process goes on, there is no free will. There is free will at this Javana stage. Sati means you are watching your own thoughts. So when you, supposing I used to get very angry sometimes when I am driving, somebody cuts in front of you or something like that. Since I started meditating, it took me a long time, about 5-6 years. I started thinking like this. The moment I get angry, I start thinking an angry thought has come in my mind. As Bhante said, when you say that, when you don't own it, you are watching at your thought. Otherwise you say, I am angry, and then you get angry and you start doing all sorts of things. That is sati. Angry thought has come to my mind. You are watching it, watching your own mind like a outsider. And that itself will cool down your mind. Then sampajanya means clear comprehension. Clear comprehension means that fellow is a fool. I don't know from where he got his license, but he doesn't know his road manners. I am not the one who is going to get entangled with him and start karma. Let him go and crash onto somebody else and make his own karma. That is clear comprehension. That is, and then you don't continue with your anger and you forget about him and go. That is yoniso manasikara. You have yoniso manasikara. You have found out the root cause of your mental activity. Somebody cut across you, you got angry, but you use sati and disown your anger and say, an angry thought has come into my mind. That is yoniso manasikara. Otherwise, if you use what you call ayoniso manasikara, you might go behind him, chase him and stop him and go into road rage. We hear of stories where people have even stabbed people because of simple thing like that. And then you get into unnecessary problems with the law, and at the end you make a big karma, and then next life is also ruined. So this is the stage where your free will can be used. It's difficult, but if you keep on practicing, I still get angry. But within a second, I turn it out. That's not my anger. It's an angry thought. I am not angry. The angry thought has come into me. That is the sort of way to stop it. You can open it.
Yeah. Then yoniso manasikara means, as Dr. said, it is sometimes has been translated wise consideration. Wise consideration means something is going in the mind. Yonisu means, yoni means womb. At the very beginning of this thought process is going in the mind. We to be considered wisely. Wisely considered means not as a baby or child. They don't have a good understanding about this. They simply work according to the object. But wise consideration means matured person wisely reflect upon the object and the results of this process, then wisely consider how can I react for that. So response and reactions are two things. Response and reactions are two things. Reactions, children react, animal react. We also react according to the object. But respond is different. We can respond wisely. We can respond. Sometimes if one scolds us, how can we respond? We can, same way we can scold to the same person. Or if not, we are wisely, sometimes wisely we can keep silence, okay? I understand his temperament or the situation, what he has encountered. I can understand his situation now. This way we can keep silence. That way we can respond wisely. If not, without thinking too much, we can react to the action. So therefore, wise consideration, wise reflection we need. Actually, these things are happening quickly, so fastly. But we should be, we are, that's why we have to practice meditation. We have to practice mindfulness. That training affects to us in this process. So therefore,
ask the people to speak.
yeah, then we react. Yoniso manasikara, wise consideration, then the outcome can be, would be a better outcome. Thank you very much. Now you may have questions. Now the time, we would like to open this discussion to everyone. If you have any questions, we try to contribute or we can discuss about that.
Anyone has a question, please put a hand up. We'll send you a wireless microphone
not only questions, if you have any ideas of your own experiences, please come forward.
Please put your hand up.
Go on, ask the question. Did she want to ask a question?
Everyone seems to be enlightened already.
Yeah. Or sleeping.
No questions.
Then Bhante, you want to explain some more?
Well, I will give time to think about the question, okay? Think about the question. So,
There.
yeah.
I have a question. I'd be very grateful for your wisdom on. I wonder if in this stage, and I'm sorry I'm not very used to the words, but the stage where you need to be mindful of what's happening.
Yeah.
Do you feel people tend to neglect looking at themselves and follow the behaviour of other people in their group? And so to be mindful, you need to be aware of yourself as being separate from the group, but still responsible for it.
Yes, you have to be different. You have to be different. That is what is called swimming against the current. Buddhism is swimming against the current. You have to be different from what other people do. If you are mindful and if you want to slow down and think differently and act differently, that's what you do. That's the best way to act. And don't be shy. If somebody comes and shouts at you, say thank you. I don't act. In fact, Buddha said the same thing. Some Brahmin or somebody came and started abusing him. He listened to him for about 10-15 minutes and said, can I ask you a question? Now the Brahmin got, why didn't this man get angry? He's asking me questions. He said, okay, ask your question. If you invite some people and cook a meal, and if those people don't come, what would you do? I will eat myself. So why don't you do the same thing with your words? See, so you act differently. Normal thing is to behave like others do. That is how you get this sort of crowds becoming violent suddenly. When somebody starts shouting at something, and then we take it up and go behind them, and then the crowd builds up and there's a riot and all sorts of things. In fact, even a war can be prevented if people are mindful.
Also, it depends according to our temperament sometimes. We have different temperaments. I have developed my priesthood for last 30, 40 years. So I have to be, I'm a monk. I can't work as other people work like that way. I have to behave some kind of way. And also my nurture and nature, two things. Nature means my temperaments, but I have been nurtured as a monk. You understand?
Yes.
Nature and nurture. I have been nurtured by the people, by my teachers, and by the philosophy, and by the Buddha. This way, I have been nurtured. So I think I'm a monk. I have to act according to my discipline, according to my state, like that way. But the nature, if it is not trained or not cultured, there are 6 temperaments, isn't it? 6 temperaments. Raga Charita means lustful temperaments. Some are very lustful temperament. And second, those means hateful temperament. A small thing enough to get angry. Very subtle, very simple thing. Just on the tube or on the bus or even anywhere, simple little thing enough to get angry and make quarrels. Because that is the temperament, people's temperament. Those are more, that means deluded. They are people very, very foolish people, maybe. That is the way, the temperaments. Sometimes gender. Gender means a woman. They are very careful more than men. They are actually subject to victim in various ways. Therefore, we are very, very careful more than men sometimes like that. This way our mind is conditioned how to react. As I said, respond and reaction are two different things. We have to respond, that we all have to respond. If we can respond wisely, consider the object, I think we all can go do something good. Yeah. Yes.
Please, can you mentioned 6 temperament?
Yeah.
The first one is raga, I think you said raga. The first one is
Raga.
The second one is hatred.
Dosa.
And what's the other 4?
Moha. Moha. Moha means dullness or stupidity, something like that. Moha charita. And Saddha. Saddha is faithful. Saddha is faithful. Very devoted to parents, very devoted to the Buddha, devoted to the teachers, and devoted to the norms and culture, etc. It's very wide subject. Faithful, Saddha. Buddhi means very intelligent people. There are some very intelligent people. Very, very cute. Buddhi charita. They perceive something deeply and keenly and better way. Buddhi charita. Vitaka means is a mixture of all conditions. Mixture. Vitaka means we can exactly, but is a mixture character of all these conditions. Vitaka charita, 6, but something more than that. More than that, but in Abhidhamma, these 6 characters. So one should be known what's one character. If not, the Buddha had this extrasensory perception. He could understand what kind of temperament of that person. Other people can't. No understanding. Therefore, one should be known by oneself. Who am I? Who am I? It is good. This is the way the temperaments activate in the Abhidhamma and in the Dhamma. Actually, the Buddha gave some topics for the meditation according to the temperaments. Sometimes mindfulness practice is not suitable to all the temperaments. Buddha selected some objects for the meditation, different. For instance, if a person is very hateful, we have to understand hate is not a good mental chetasika. So we have to control that. In order to, Buddha applied metta, loving kindness is good for the person who is hateful. Loving kindness. Then it can be balanced, our temperament can be balanced. Metta, good for hateful people. Actually good for everyone. Metta is well-being of the people. Physical well-being, mental well-being, social well-being, etc. Wishing well-being of others, one can control one's anger. Therefore, hateful temperament is recommended loving kindness meditation. Also, sometimes marananusati, when we reflect marana, death, maybe the temperament is very negative temperament, understand something. We all die one day. Why we get angry so much for these simple things? We are not permanent. These things are ever changing. Why we think too much about this simple thing? This way we can give a torch to the object according to the angle of Buddhist teaching of impermanence. This is the way that we can control the temperaments in positive way. Thank you. Another 10 minutes we have. Shall we conclude or do you have any more questions?
No question. When we talk about the Yoriso Manasikara, that's something that we can develop within us, or how does it work with the younger children and the adults? So the Yoriso Manasikara comes with, and Yoriso Manasikara starts at the birth, or we develop something, or is it how can we develop it in different stages of life?
Yeah, this is our cognitive process. Sometimes, very important question you have asked, sometimes people get depressed. The depression is a very, very nasty, severe disease at the moment. When one gets depressed, certainly think to commit suicide. That is the thinking. Those who commit suicide mainly depressed, loss of hope and disappointment, and thinking negative way. Always thinking negative way, focusing mine. Why I am? How can I? This way, think negative way, undermining oneself. Then get depressed and disappointment and no hopes. Then think to commit suicide. That is the results of depression sometimes. So depression arises at the moment of thinking process arise. Who introduced MBCT? You know what is MBCT? Based on cognitive therapy. Mindfulness based on cognitive therapy. Introduced by Williams and Hegel. That is a very good technique to get rid of depression. So therefore, children, during the period of COVID, people didn't have social contact. They were alonely thinking about. Then some people get depressed. So therefore, children, this yoniso manasikara we have to, the parents always guide and teach them. So when basically it says when the thought process arises, at the very moment of the arising of thought process, yoniso manasikara teach or train us, take out the negative thought process from the mind very beginning and help to think in positive way, positive thought processes. Positive thought processes we can imply to the mind. Otherwise, papancha is very important thought, again, concept. Papancha is proliferation or diversifying our thought processes. Diversifying means taking an object, we think about the past, we think about the future, we think about myself, we think about all these things, taking a single object, we create a big thought processes, diversifying, proliferating upon the object. Then, Buddha said, Anto jata, bahijata. Inner tangle and outer tangle. Inner tangle is with the papancha, thought processes. In an analogy, Buddha said, spider create a web. Spider create a web. Sometimes Buddha said this. Spider itself entangled by his own web. Our minds also like that. We create thought processes and thought processes entangle our mind. Mind become victim of our thought processes. Lot of problems are there. Lot of problems. People have a lot of problems because of papancha, proliferation, diversifying. Any seed is enough to make a big tree like that tree. So we have to train our children as well, actually. If we can, we have to approach their mind. Thank you. Time is over now. Thank you very much. If you a little bit interested, you can read it. What is javanas, what is papanchas, what is yoniso manasikara, what is mindfulness, what is this thought process. It actually happened to us. All these 12 questions. Okay, thank you very much.
We have to want a 5 minutes rest, or do we want a 5 minutes rest?
Yeah. We give a 5 minutes.
5 minutes rest.
Then doctor's speech.
After that.
Yes, after that. Thank you very much. Okay.